Everybody, it's Thursday night, 8 p.m. Rolly, our new hour.
New hour, new day.
New day. It's new backdrop. We're going good. A lot to talk about, Rolly. You had a lot of exciting games last week. Week 1 in Dade County football, high school football. We had a barn burner in Broward County. Rolly, you want to kick the show off with that one?
Well, the barn burner. Are we talking about American Heritage?
We're talking about. That's the only one we're talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't really a barn burner because Central destroyed and dominated American Heritage the entire game. Central looks, like they say, Central looks powerful.
Well, Rolly, let's not go there too far, because the first half, it was 28, 14, 28, 21. And yes, in the second half, the big, powerful offensive line took over. Dalvin Cook took over. But it was an exciting game, Rolly.
It was, but it wasn't. I mean, again, in between the trenches, and the stats would show American Heritage had two good things. Number one, they had Brandon Vicens, who had, I think, over 20-something, 22, 23 tackles. Mm-hmm. And then they had Isaiah McKenzie, who had another ESPN.
Yes.
The number one.
Rolly 2 weeks in a row on ESPN.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Top player of the week on ESPN. That was sensational.
What a time to showcase your talent. Isaiah McKenzie going into his senior year, Rolly.
That's right.
And unbelievable national attention 2 weeks in a row. But like Rolly said, Central blew the doors open in the second half, Rolly.
But listen, the dynamic duel is exactly that. We named them the dynamic duel.
Absolutely.
And that name is sticking because
we don't want to call them Batman and Robin because we don't know which one's Robin. You know what I mean? But
Cook and Yerby, I'm gonna tell you right now,
they're the real deal. They're the real deal.
But Carlos, you know what? Again, let's go back. Brandon Vicens.
Yes.
We had him on the show last year. He called in.
We did. Yes,
and
we did.
he went from playing quarterback at Archbishop McCarthy, and now he's
Yes.
playing linebacker at American Heritage, and just tearing it up.
Well, this is a kid, Rolly. He's just a football player.
Absolutely.
That's all he is. He's just a football player. Coach, no matter where you put me on the field, I'm going to go on the field. I'm going to produce for you, Coach. And right now, he started his high school career at American Heritage. He was a little bit unhappy with the way things were progressing. He left to Archbishop McCarthy. He had a big year at Archbishop McCarthy, not only in football, but in baseball too, Rolly, hitting the home run, walk-off home run to win the state championship game. This kid is money in the bank. Now he's back at American Heritage. He's the backup quarterback, but he is starting at linebacker, and oh my God, is he laying the wood, Rolly?
Oh, he sure is. But you know what? Again, Central stole the show, and they dominated this game at the end.
Yes.
And they have another big one coming up this week.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that one in a little bit, but we're going to recap real quick what happened in Dade County last week. Rolly, let's go
to the big stadium. The big stadium with St. Thomas Aquinas and Northwestern. There was 3 big games, ladies and gentlemen.
This was a game. This is a game that everybody's been wanting to see this game since the day Ja'Cory Harris was quarterback at Northwestern. And to give St. Thomas credit, every year they've stepped up and they've played somebody. Last year was Columbus. This year is Northwestern. I believe Central's on the schedule coming up in the near future. But Rolly, it wasn't even close.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're saying that this team, our friends over there, down south, are saying that this team is better than last year's team, and that this team is extremely loaded. Yeah, yes. Friends up north. I'm sorry.
Right.
They are completely loaded.
Yes.
And you want to know something, guys? The wagons are circling over that Northwestern because I'm going to tell you something. Mr. Luther Campbell, aka Luke. He just finished getting his high school football head coaching certification, so they better look out.
Yeah, Rolly, but you know what? I think Mr. Campbell needs to concentrate a little bit on the defense because his defense got whooped up on last week. St. Thomas Aquinas, Coach Rocco Casulo, won a state championship last year. He's in his 3rd year right now. First year was a little bit of a rocky start on the transition from Coach Smith to Coach Casulo, and right now, Rolly, this man is on a roll. Okay, I listen. That thing is just a machine right now, Rolly. It's it's like a train rolling downhill.
That's right. They were running smooth on all cylinders. Receivers, running backs, linebackers, offense, defensive line.
Last year they had the big man John Bosa, and this year his little brother Joey. Joey's going to be a stud. He was only a freshman last year. He got a lot of playing time. He's not as big as his brother, but I expect him to grow into that body. But he's got something his brother didn't have. He's got this cat-like quickness coming off the,
Former PPO, baby.
They've been seeing this since his days at the PPO. Joey Bosa's going to have a big year this year, Rolly.
Absolutely.
So coming down, and going back to that game, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but Northwestern disappointed me a little bit because I keep hearing this hype about Northwestern. This is their year, and Rolly, either St. Thomas is that good or Northwestern,
Well, you know what? We've heard a lot of talk about Northwestern with, their offensive line is absolutely huge. Their defensive line is huge. And they said, oh, Northwestern, and again, let's not take too much away from Northwestern because St. Thomas is really that good.
I understand that, but everybody says about their offensive line. For me, Rolly, and going back to Central real quick, Trevor Darling, left tackle from Central. Kid's been an All-American since his freshman year, 6'6", 300 plus. He's committed to University of Miami. He's going to be the next great one at UM, Rolly. He really is.
You know what? Coaches, UM has been doing a really good job recruiting down here in South Florida. Ever since we said Jimbo Fisher, because Jimbo Fisher is absolutely loaded, and he continues to reload.
Jumping over to FSU real quick. I know we don't want to be jumping around, but I didn't see too many receivers dropping balls up there, huh?
Oh, man, they're all averaging 6'3". They're all large.
Yeah, and listen, they can all catch the ball. The pigskin only hit the ground twice last week, but moving down south, Rolly, down at Harris Field last week. Wow, a little bit of Rolly, I was expecting more. Every time I go see a South Day game, I walk away disappointed, Rolly. Disappointed because I'm going to tell you something right now. C.J. Horton might be the best receiver aside from Iman Lane in Dade County, okay? And he got the ball thrown to him 3 times. 2 of them were touchdowns.
But one of their best receivers, which is athletic-wise, is Tyree Brady. I don't think he's seen the ball but once. And you have Mario Mezier, who you like a lot. And he didn't.
I don't think he got the ball at all. And Rolly, the most disappointing thing about everything is Columbus had 9 guys in the box. They were playing without a safety over the top a lot of the time, one-on-one out on the wings. I'd have been chucking that ball all night long, Rolly.
Well, you know what? Miguel Lopez did an incredible job with the highlights. He put it up there.
Yes.
And when you see the highlights, you'll see a lot of open receivers and no balls being thrown to him.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to hear game day with the highlights, but the audio wasn't exactly what we wanted it to be, and unless it's a good product, we don't want to put it out there for our fans. But Miguel Lopez his video and his highlights are unbelievable. You got to check them out. They're up on YouTube right now, Rolly, and
they're on our website.
They're on our website, so it's. Let's talk about Columbus.
Well, I'll tell you what. I went into this game like you said. We're expecting fireworks, a bombshell, and a little disappointed with South Dade because they're, again. Everyone talks. They're loaded, they're loaded, they're loaded. And they are loaded. But for some reason, some way, somehow, I don't know if it's coming from the sideline into that huddle, or I don't know if it's the play, I don't know if it's the execution. But if you saw their offensive line compared to Columbus, it was a huge difference. Yeah. And South Dade just didn't produce. Now, Columbus really, let one slip away here. But let's go to Columbus because they were extremely, extremely, of course, well coached. You had Osh, who ran the ball strong. You had, of course, Sasha Kelsey played like Superman except for one little play.
He ran the jet sweep almost to perfection. I would really, really, really maybe like to see the jet sweep run by Amir Rasul. You know what I mean? They were trying to force it up in the middle. Right now, the Columbus offensive line is struggling a little bit. Osh and Amir were getting hit in the backfield a lot.
And Tucker Burns
was rolling out and running for his life a lot. completing a lot of passes though, Rolly.
Hey, Tucker Burns looks strong. He looks big. Ladies and gentlemen, this kid has grown. He's gotten so much thicker and stronger.
Right, but
that rifle is getting stronger as well.
The thing that impressed me the most about Tucker Burns the other night was this. They were down by 2.
They were down by 2.
3 minutes left to go. They get a stop on the goal line. Columbus takes the ball over on the 3-yard line, and Tucker Burns takes his team 95 yards down to the 10 or 11, I think it was.
Yes.
And
it was a chip shot.
And it was 4th and inches, and you know what? He put his team in a position to win the game, and for some reason the holder didn't get the ball down, because I saw the highlights and I looked at the film. He got it in his hands. The ball just never got down.
I'll tell you what, it was less than a minute, almost just about, and that's when we said, well, we're going to find out what Mr. Burns is all about. And you know what? He did not disappoint.
He did not.
Took his team right down the field. And you know what, again, let's go back to Sasha Kelsey. The kid made all these spectacular catches on the sideline, in the middle of the field. You know, where, again, last year we were a little hard on him because he did drop some third down passes that were critical, especially in the Central game last year. But this year, he looked stronger, bigger, faster.
No, and he did have, to be honest, he did have one critical drop, but it was just one all night long. Unlike last year, I don't think he let it bother him.
Right.
And he just wiped the slate clean, and he went back to work, Rolly. And he had a couple great punt and kick returns. He had the jet sweep runs were unbelievable. Sasha looks good, man.
Yes, I'll tell you what, some people said, oh, Columbus lost everything. And, of course, they lost Mr. Jesus Bubba Wilson, who did get in the field on Monday night when FSU played Pittsburgh for a couple plays. But I'm going to tell you right now, all the kids stepped up on that team. And you know what? Again, I'll say it. Columbus let one slip away.
Yes, absolutely. They absolutely did. They were in position to win the game. I want to give a quick shout-out to Otto Travieso. He had a monster game in the middle of that defensive line. Otto coming off a ACL tear. And Rolly, if I think Otto registered 10, 11 tackles, he didn't register one. You know, he had a big game. He was stuffing that game. He had a big hand to put into that.
It was double teamed the whole night.
The whole night, but Otto's just playing lights out. I was a little disappointed I didn't see Andres Fernandez get into the game. You know, and but I guess the way Tucker Burns is playing, he needs to switch positions, man.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now, talking about disappointments, you know, just bringing it up. I was a little disappointed. One of my boys, of course, Mr. Tuan Cordy. Tuan Cordy came in the second quarter, and he called me, and he was very disappointed. He said he will never. He huddled up his team. He will never ever have a game like that again. And it was, for some people, that's a decent game, but for him, we're used to seeing highlight reels.
Yeah, Tuan was basically non-existent in the kick game. Tuan is an electrifying kick returner. He's also a shutdown corner, but I love to see him back there returning kicks because he makes unbelievable runs out of nothing. And you know, I don't know what happened, Rolly, but he like you said, the first half he wasn't in the game, and I think if he's in there returning kicks, the score might be a little bit different.
Well, I'll tell you what, another thing that was disappointing for me was seeing on the sideline was the mystery man, which we called Megatron, which is Devontae Keaton. Devontae Keaton, there's something going on, and hopefully the school board and everyone's trying to get involved in this and trying to see how they can get, Devontae Keaton back on the football field. So we'll see what happens with that.
Absolutely. Another game I want to talk about real quick, Rolly. You know, last year we had the quarterback from this team on a lot, which is the Freak, you know, and I thought to myself, you know, he's going to graduate, and he's the heart and soul of this team. I think Carroll City's going to take a step back. But, oh, my God. Carroll City, the Killian Cougars came in, defending district champs. They took it to, you know, them and Columbus, they were in the regionals toe-to-toe to the last quarter. And Carroll City put a whooping on Killian, 27-0, I think it was, Rolly.
I tell you, me and Miguel were talking about this, and we haven't done our picks this year because we started a little late.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Carroll City, by far, has the most difficult schedule in the entire Dade County.
They sure do, Rolly, and I'm going to tell you something. They sure started off with a bang week one. The Carroll City Chiefs, they looked like they were rounding the wagons, Rolly.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know that Killian, in their defense, they've had, some injuries, and hopefully those kids get healthy soon because Killian does have a very good team, but they're injured right now. Especially, I think one of their best players is injured, but we'll have to wait and see how that comes out.
Absolutely, and moving on to week 2, Rolly, the showdown at Traz Powell doesn't get any better than this, guys. Listen, we're gonna wait 2 or 3 weeks to come out with our top 10 because I think it's not fair to all the teams in the county to come up with a top 10 right off the bat. We gotta let these guys bang it up a little bit and see how it shakes out, and maybe week 3 we'll come out with our top 10. But we got the 2 number 1 teams in the country. That's right, the 2 number 1 teams in the country playing against each other this weekend, Rolly.
At Traz Powell,
Miami Central and
you know what,
Booker
Carlos?
T. Washington.
Everybody that's anybody that wants to be somebody
Yes.
is going to be watching this game. I'm
Absolutely.
telling you right now, this has already been talked about all over the country, all the radio stations.
Yes.
This is the biggest hype. You want to talk about one of the biggest stages for recruiting? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Friday night at Traz Powell,
Yes.
you better get there early to get a seat because you're going to have every school from everywhere sitting on the bleachers.
The dynamic duel will be in effect, and the man from Booker T. Washington, the quarterback, Mr. Harris, he's the one that makes it all roll, Rolly.
Oh man! Well, they're saying that Booker T right now can challenge a lot of college teams, and so can Central.
Yeah,
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, Rolly.
I'm just gonna say,
but
throw
you
it
know
out
what?
there.
But you know what?
Coach
I,
Harris will tell you he
yeah,
can do it.
Rolly,
Coach
Rolly,
Ice.
Rolly, yeah, but listen, no, I don't think so.
Coach-
I don't. Let's not go that far. Let's not jump over
I tell you what.
over the edge. Miguel's laughing over there behind the camera.
I'll tell you what.
know?
The Rockets, your corners are gonna be challenged completely this
Yeah,
week.
listen, it's not only with the pass, but they're gonna have to come up big time in run support. And I love seeing the Central Rockets on offense, but what I really love to see when I see Central play, Rolly, I love to see Mr. Dalvin Cook play safety.
Well, you know what? If he catches one, it's to the house.
It's to the house or picks up a fumble. The last time we saw these two teams play, Booker T. Washington dominating the game, 19-0, first half. Right before halftime, Mr. Dalvin Cook swoops up a fumble, takes it 68 yards for a touchdown.
That Clemson recruit was smiling. But no,
He's
not
smiling
gonna-
too much now.
He's already committed
Yeah,
to
he's
Georgia.
already committed to Florida, I believe it is, right?
No, I think he's a Georgia Bulldog.
Georgia Bulldog? I heard Florida, though.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Mr. Dalvin Cook has got everybody jumping around the SEC and stuff, but
Well, Carlos, what do you got? What do you got this week? Huh?
who do I got this week?
That's right.
I got the Central Rockets. I ain't even going to hesitate, bro.
Miguel, who do you got this week? He's got Central.
Booker T. Washington.
Booker T.
Oh, my
Washington.
God. Who you got, Rolly?
I gotta go with the Central. The
Rolly,
dynamic duo.
I ain't even going to
Coach
hesitate.
Ice, I'm
I ain't
sorry,
even going to hesitate.
but I gotta go.
Listen,
with the
I'm going to tell you
dynamic duo.
something. I'm going to tell you something right now, okay? I'm going to tell you something right now.
Central still has a Doral Bronco kicker, by the way.
Yes, he
You guys
does.
know.
Yes, he does. Listen. Booker T. Washington can travel all over the country and they can whoop up on everybody, all right? But as long as Mr. Yerby and Mr. Cook have been in Central, it hasn't happened here in Dade County. And Rolly, it's not going to happen this week either.
You know what? I tend to agree with you, but we have to wait and see. The game
Yeah.
has to be played.
You know, we got a special sponsor for today's show. Rolly, you want to talk a little bit about International Plumbing?
International Plumbing, ladies
Huh?
and gentlemen, International Plumbing, they specialize in doing projects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of work for all the
But
big developers.
But listen, their owner Carlos, he won't hesitate. His thing is service, and if you call him and you're in a jam and you're in a fix, I'm sure Carlos will come out and hook you up, Rolly.
And you know what? This game day, it's going to be sponsored by International Plumbing.
International
So
Plumbing.
we will. See.
You know, those plumbers are a little bit close to my heart, Rolly. I used to be a plumber back in the day. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't even own tools anymore, but yeah, I used to be able to turn a wrench with the best of them. You know. So what else are we talking about this week, Rolly?
Well, Homestead. Everybody thought Homestead was down in the dumps.
Yeah.
But they went and they put a big game, Carlos, against Boyd Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the game was 35-18.
Well, listen, they got the best receiver in the country over there, so
Mr. Mr. Lane was doing it up. He had a
was
great
doing
game.
his thing, and there's also another big game this week we haven't talked about a little bit. This one is a rivalry game, Rolly.
A rivalry
You
game.
know, it's been
It's a-
switched.
down
It's
south
been-
is a rivalry
It's
game.
been switched down south in the archdiocese, in the Catholic community, in the private school community. It's a
big.
big game, Rolly.
big game.
You know, we got Columbus, Belen Columbus week, Rolly. I think the best thing about this game, because it's been one-sided the whole time. I think it's the tailgating, Rolly.
Well, the tailgating is
It's out of
they've already
control.
started talking about it.
It's out of control. They got the big RVs out there, and everybody's popping Patron, and Rolly, it's out of control.
The steaks, the sausages,
Yes.
everything, you name it, is being cooked out there. You have some guys even cutting up some tuna and sushi. So the tailgating is absolutely
A
spectacular.
lot of bragging rights on this one, and Rolly, I'm going to tell you right now. After what we saw last week, I think Coach Stewart might be licking his chops a little bit, thinking he might have a chance this year.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
the last time
We'll make our picks, but I don't. You know what?
Rolly, the last time I saw Amir Razul play against a Belém team, he totally dominated the game. Mind you, it was the freshman team last year.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I expect Amir Razul to dominate this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, Columbus, again, this past week, a lot of people thought they had no chance
Yeah.
whatsoever to play against South Dade, and they went down there and flat out punched South Dade in the
Yeah,
mouth.
I talked to Coach Trujillo a little bit after the game, and he told me that he was happy with the way his defense played, that the kids played hard, but, they just allowed too many points, and, he was unhappy about that. And I think Coach Trujillo is the specialist at stopping the wing T. So,
Well, listen, Columbus, played against a team last week that had 5 different transfers, 3 starters.
Yeah.
When I say 3 starters, I'm talking about quarterback, running back,
Yeah.
and a receiver. Transferred, started for South Dade.
Yeah.
And Columbus shut all 3 of those kids down pretty much. Now, let's go into this week. You got Belén. Belén is very young. Coach Stewart says they're getting very good, but they're still very young. I don't see Belén keeping up with Columbus. I'm sorry, Coach Stewart, not this week. And we're going to try to get Coach Stewart in the show, next couple of weeks. But I see Columbus winning this game by 2
well, listen,
touchdowns.
I think Coach Stewart has high expectations ever since being moved up to 8A. But he's got a team in his district he's got to deal with, and those are the Southwest Eagles, Rolly, and they started out big this week, and they've got themselves a nice little product going on over there, Rolly.
Absolutely. Another one is our guys from down south, Keys Gate Charter. They're doing a very good job.
They took their lumps last year, but let me tell you, they are doing their thing. A couple of new coaches I want to give shout outs to. I want to start with Miami High, Rolly, one of your coaches, head coach over there.
Coach Ivan Rosales.
Ivan Rosales and Coach Javi over at Matter Academy. Coach Javi going into Gulliver and getting a big win to start off the season, Rolly. The chatter at Matter right now is unbelievable, Rolly.
Javi's excited. He's got, one of our kids, Joseph Baroque, is over there playing tight end and
He's
fullback.
playing fullback. He gained 113 yards and scored twice against Gulliver, Rolly.
Absolutely.
So Joseph is doing a good job. Rolly, let's go over these games real quick. Week 2, Southwest Hialeah.
Let's go over Southwest. We gotta give a big shout out to Mr. Devante. Starting corner as a freshman over there.
Listen,
49-0, I think it was.
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Devontae's my guy, bro. Devontae, my guy. I love Miguel Jr. to death. Because he's like a Rough Rider. But Devontae's a straight arrow, dog. You know what I mean? And he's gonna do things. He's gonna do unbelievable things. He's a freshman starting that corner over at Southwest Senior High School, Rolly.
Absolutely. And you know what? The Southwest did a lot of good things last year, and they ran out of gas at the end.
Yes.
I expect Southwest to do some.
I think they were a little bit over challenged last year, but going really quick over this week's games, Rolly. Hialeah Southwest. I got Southwest. Who you got?
Hialeah Southwest. I got to stick with Southwest.
Miggy?
And dominating them.
You got Southwest, okay?
So we're gonna go Southwest.
Southwest, all 3 of us. Okay, and let's go Belén Columbus.
Belén Columbus. I got Columbus by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I got Columbus too. I don't think Belén is going to get off the snide here. I think Columbus wins another one in a one-sided rivalry. All right, and
I just picked Columbus as well.
yeah, we got another big game down at South Ridge Stadium, Coral Reef and Cooper City. This is a tough game. Cooper City Cowboys coming in, Rolly. That's a tough outfit down there. They give St. Thomas fits every time they play. Those boys come to play, But listen, Coral Reef has got a squad.
Yeah, but Coral Reef lost their quarterback. I'm going to go with Cooper City.
I think I'm going with Cooper City too. Miggy? Cooper City also. All right. Okay.
See what else you got there, big
Oh, this one's a big one, Rolly. Down at Harris Field. our boys from South Dade lining up against Miami Carroll City Senior High School, Rolly. Holy lolly, holy moly, Rolly. Holy moly, this one's going to be a barn burner, you know what I mean? But, Rolly, I think I got to go with Carroll City on this one.
It all depends what South Dade team shows up, Carlos. But I'm gonna go with Carroll City as well.
Yeah, Miguel's got Carroll City too. Miguel's jumping on that bandwagon all day today, huh, brother? He's just sitting over there behind the park, and let's see what we got here. Ooh, this one's a little bit of a picker here, over at Tropical Park on Friday, 8 p.m. South Miami Senior High School against Miami Killy. Who you got? Who you got?
South Miami.
South Miami against Miami. South Miami won big last week.
I know, but I gotta go with Killian.
You going with Killian?
I can't let my boys down over.
Okay, I think I'm going with Killian too. If I pick South Miami, Coach Johnson will hang me out to dry. He'll never let me on campus again. So, Coach, you better come through, Coach. Mickey, who you got? He's got Killian also, and that's about it, Roll. Let me see what we got here on the back page. That's about. Oh, we got another nice one down south, Rolly.
What do you got?
Okay, we got Homestead and Miami South Ridge.
Well, that's a nice little rivalry.
Have you noticed that? I keep saying we got another nice one down south, Rolly. Them teams down south are balling. Catch the turnpike, head south, get off on Campbell Drive, and make a left. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
I got Homestead. Miguel?
Miguel, who you got? You got Homestead? I got Homestead also.
Yo, Stead.
Yo, Stan. So listen, a couple weeks we're gonna come up with our top 10. Rolling.
I think that once we come up with our top 10, we're gonna let everyone know who we're picking, and we're gonna go from there. Because last year, somebody won a nice steak dinner.
I did.
But
I won. I won the steak dinner.
How'd you win this?
What do you mean? You the one that you had to pay.
Miguel Lopez was the
You
one who
had
was
to
supposed
pay.
to pay.
You
Miguel
had
got
to
third,
pay.
last place.
What do you mean, Miguel Lopez? You the one that had to pay, bro. Don't be putting this one on Miguel. Fred and I are still waiting for our first. I think Fred's in the back. Fred, who's got to pay us our dinner? Rolly. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
We're rolling. Fred's still back there. We got Miguel behind the camera, but Fred is in the production booth back there, and he's pointing the finger at you, brother.
You're right.
When are we gonna go eat dinner?
We're gonna go to a nice
Yeah.
steak and shake.
Okay, listen. For myself, Rolly, Miguel behind the camera, Fred in the booth. Our second show of the year. We'll see you next Thursday. Same time, 8 p.m., same place. Don't miss us. And this weekend, game of the week, Rolly?
Central Rockets versus the Buccaneers.
Barn burner.